Good afternoon. Welcome again to our podcast called Rising Up Robbie with Robbie. I have today an extremely special guest. This is Laura Maxwell, and she is one of our residents' daughters. And we're going to talk today about caregiving, some of the struggles that are involved, some of the issues that she meets on a daily basis, because she not only cares for her mother here, but she also cares for her husband at home. So we talk many times about the sandwich generation, where we're caught between our elderly parents and our youngsters. In this situation, Laura's caught between her mom and her husband. So a very special guest. I'd like to welcome you, Laura. And Laura, we're going to talk today about some of the struggles that you have as a caregiver. Caregiving is not easy at any level. So what kind of things are you facing on a daily basis?
Wow. Well, with my husband, it's a struggle day and night. He sleeps most of the day. So my husband has CIDP, which is a neurological disorder. It affects the feet and the hands. So it sort of started like neuropathy. He says it feels like he's standing in a fire ant bed, which is in a fire pit. Oh. And then every now and then, especially at night, it'll be like electricity is going through his body. So the hardest part is at night. I could be dead asleep, and like that I'm up and I'm either getting medications or wrapping his feet with cold rags, getting something to drink, finding his medications, trying to struggle in the dark and turn the lights on and see what medications he has and look at the time we took them. And so it's a lot of lack of sleep. And I know as a caregiver, you have to take care of yourself.
Yes. Which
is sometimes really hard. So as a retired school teacher, I was working all day, taking care of my husband all night, getting up and working all day, and then after work, stopping by here to make sure that my mom had what she needed and take care of her needs, and just sitting with her and having family is so important,
Oh, yeah.
So it's a whole day thing. So getting up at 5 in the morning and getting home at 7 o'clock at night, and then trying to fit in grandkids and my own kids along the way. So I was wearing down quick, and retirement was definitely the thing to do. And in that time frame when I was working, before Mom was here at this home, she was at a more independent living site. But she needed the help. She needed the 24-hour caregivers. And that's where caregiving really, I noticed right away that this is not for everyone. No. It is just like teaching. A lot of people go into the teaching field thinking this is going to be easy. Get your summers off, and there's no summers off. And it's not easy. But caregiving is a whole different ballgame. And so what happened is I started looking for 24-hour services to come to her home. And at first, they started with someone in-house, and you had to pay extra. So they would come to her apartment and sit with her and help her use the restroom. But I noticed that Mom was not getting the care she needed. People weren't showing up. And they wouldn't replace the time. So if someone didn't show up, she was left stranded. So I would leave work or stay there until the night shift came. So then we changed companies to another one that promised us the world. And at that point, I started putting cameras in her apartment because Mom's not the one that's going to complain about anything, but I can tell through her mannerisms. If you, just like a teacher, you get to know the person, the patient or the student, know their mannerisms and when they're keeping something. And so I realized that she wasn't getting what she needed. So through the video cameras, I noticed there were 4 people that we had fired. From a lack of care, they would come in, sign in, go sit at the kitchen table, and never get up until she would ask to go to the restroom. The night shift, they would come in, and one lady in particular came in around 7 o'clock, turned the TV off, turned the lights off, told my mom, still in the recliner, you got to go to sleep. I'm tired.
Oh, no.
And she pulled out, she took her shoes off, pulled out a blanket out of a bag, and sprawled out on the couch. I'm paying her to take care of my mom, and she told her, go to bed in the recliner. So it was this point we figured out something has to be done. So I was staying more and more, trying to take care of my mom. So I became the full-time caregiver. Then we hit the freeze. The freeze in Texas was big. So I took her to my house, and I took care of her. But in that time frame, we lost power.
Oh.
For 5 days. It was freezing. Our house is foam insulated, so that was our saving grace. But I had her on a twin bed in the den because my home wasn't set up for anybody who was handicapped. The restroom was a hard thing.
Oh, yeah.
To get her into the restroom, she was losing strength quickly. I was losing strength doing the transitions. It takes a lot. And so my husband was hurt. He had just recently had elbow surgery at the time. He was still walking though. So he was able to help me with one arm. So it came to a point that we ended up using the Depends, and I said, Mom, for the next however many days, I couldn't get her anywhere because we live on the second floor, and the elevator, since we didn't have electricity, I couldn't get her down.
Oh, true.
The stairs were icy, so that wasn't safe either. We couldn't get a caregiver to come to the house, so I went into full caregiver mode, boiling the water, giving her baths, all of that, making sure she had warm soup, just taking care of her like a caregiver should, you know, making sure that she's okay, keeping her mind alert. So we did a lot of mind activities, a lot of questionnaires and stuff just to keep her talking. But it was long nights, all night long. Her medications were wrong, so she was up and talking throughout the night or counting or scared. And in that time, my husband ended up re-hurting his elbow. So he was down in the bed, and my mom was in here, and I was trying to care for two of them at once.
Oh.
And that's where it became very overwhelming for me. And my son, who's in the Coast Guard, had just happened to call on a bad time for me and just knew that I needed help. So he got on the next flight and came down and was able to help lift my mother when I needed it or help with the father. So then I told her, I said, look, we're going to go back to your apartment. The freeze is over, but we're going to get you into a rehab hospital, and that will give me 2 weeks to find you a home, which, you know, God led us here, and it's been a blessing ever since. So, you know, I told Mary Ann, it's like I can hang up my hat for caregiver with my mother and become her daughter again.
All right.
But in the meantime, my husband has taken a turn for the worst. So he is now into a wheelchair, and he has no use of the feet right now. His nerves are really damaged. And so my caregiving mode is now back in full force. I'm retired, but I get up early because it's very important for a caregiver to take care of yourself first.
That's right.
So even though it's early, I do get up 5 o'clock and I sit outside and I have my time with God. You know, I'm watching the birds and the sunrise come up, and it's just peaceful. If you don't start with peace in your heart, I don't think you can make it through the day.
That's right. You need that.
You do need that. And then it just puts me in a great mood I'm ready to take care of him. You know, he's my husband, but I'm the only one he has to take care of him. And he thanks me on a daily basis so many times because caring for him is taking rags like dish towels and getting them ice cold and then wrapping his feet. It calms the heat, I guess, because his feet are on fire. And then scheduling his doctor's appointments. We have several. And making sure we're recording the medications. So it's not just, here's pills by your bedside. It's emptying the urinals because he can't get up and use the restroom. The bedpans when he can't do that. Or the bedside toilet. So there's a lot that, he's not just my husband anymore. It's more like he's my patient during the daytime and the evening. He does have good days, and on that time we go into husband-wife mode, and we're, just making the most of our time together while we have it. If he has one good day, maybe 2 in a row, then he's down in the bed for the rest of the week.
Oh.
And it's a really hard life. And on top of that, he's still trying to work. And he does work from home, which is a blessing in disguise, but it's not the easiest job. It's a sales job, so it's hard to be a salesman when you're in bed. So he worries a lot about income and what the future holds, and
Sure.
and I do too. But we've decided he feels bad that he can't give me a vacation. I don't want to go away like we normally do, and I said I need to be here for Mom, and I need to be here for him, and honestly, I don't think he could get on an airplane right now. So we've just scheduled for a staycation, but we have our days, and my daughter will come down every now and then and help with the care, but it's hard.
Yeah, it's hard.
It is hard. And in keeping it family-oriented, you don't want to lose that husband-wife, but you also have to step up, just like my mother. When I had her, she's my mom, but in a time of need, I'm the caregiver, I've got to take care of her, whether it's changing a Depends or giving her the sponge bath or feeding her, making sure she's warm. You go into that. It's just natural.
Yeah.
There's love there.
Well, Laura, you've gone through everything that a typical caregiver goes through.
Yes.
You got your time management. You've got your family time. You're with your grandchildren, your own husband. You've got asking for help, which is difficult. You don't want to ask for
A
help.
lot of people don't ask for help.
That's right. You talked about the need for respite.
Yes.
Respite is just getting away, and that's very important. To get some time with your own thoughts.
That's right.
So you're living this every day.
Every day.
From AM to midnight, to night to morning
Throughout the
again.
night.
24 hours.
Yes. It's not just getting up once with my husband. He'll wake up screaming. The pain is intense when that happens, and so I have to find the right pain medicine because we can't take, he went from fentanyl patches, which was very powerful, but weren't working. So the doctors put him on a methadone with the tramadol, and it's just knowing when you can take what.
Yeah,
And
sure.
even if he's in pain, you can't, his reaction is give it to me, and my reaction is, oh no.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no. We have to stay safe and take the medicine correctly and record the times. And
So you have to play good cop, bad cop.
I do. I have to play. And then in the meantime, sometimes force him to eat because the medicine makes him nauseous. So then we have whole other issues involved. And so I'll be up making something to eat in the middle of the night or whenever. I don't want him taking medication without food because it'll really tear his stomach up. And I'm trying to get him to eat something in the middle of the night, so he's, will eat a few pita chips or something or a bowl of fruit just to get it down. But it's a struggle. It's a struggle. So I'm just trying to, right now I'm struggling with the nutrition part for him.
Oh,
Yeah.
so another challenge.
It's another issue that we're dealing with. There is hope on the horizon, though. We went to our pain management yesterday, and we're in the trial coming up for the spinal implant. This is where it's going to go put needles into the spine attached to the nerves that go down to his feet and to his hands, because his hands pull up at night and he has to wear like carpal tunnel sleeves.
Uh-huh.
So when he does that, hopefully the needles will do whatever happens in the spine, and it's supposed to tell your nerves that you're okay. We'll see. So if that works,
Interesting.
it will be a huge success for us.
Yeah, we go leaps and bounds with our medical technology and the things they
is
can do.
Unbelievable. He said a lot of people do not qualify for this, but my husband does, and the doctor is definitely excited to try it.
Good.
So hopefully within the end of the month, we'll be in that experiment trial phase.
Pray it works.
I do. I pray every day that there's something, just to give him a little relief. Just, you know,
sure.
I want him to live a life, but living a life in bed is not living a life.
No.
So he thanks me all the time, saying, you know, thank you for taking care of me, and thank you for always making me smile, because it's lonely. When I was working full time, he was there by himself all day. So I would literally put the water on the side bed table and food. I would leave food throughout the day. I had a little cooler for the cold stuff, and then a lineup of urinals and whatever he needed, because I was literally gone until 5 or 6 o'clock. And then I would put my stuff down, take a breather, and go into the mode of taking care of him, you know.
Well, Laura, you're an amazing woman.
Thank you.
And you're my hero.
You're my hero.
Well, caregiving is a big challenge.
It is a challenge.
And it wears on you physically and emotionally and mentally.
Many days I've just sat by myself and had a breakdown. But you pull yourself back up, stand tall, thank God for your day, and you go in and you start again.
Yeah.
You don't have a choice in it.
Yeah, caregiving is one of the hardest things you'll do. And one of the things we've found out about caregiving, you have to be careful and care for yourself, which you spoke to, because caregivers tend to become sick quicker than the patient. We see it all the time. So make sure that you are taking your breaks, you're getting your mental health in,
Definitely.
you're taking care of you.
That's great advice for anybody, but definitely for those caregivers.
Yeah.
It's just so important.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I reach out to not just amputees, but I reach out to individuals who are going through the issues like Laura is, and residents or patients who are struggling with severe illness or chronic disease. It's very important for everyone to take Laura's advice and take care of you.
Take care of you first. Yeah. You sort of fashion like if you're on an airplane and that air drops down, and the first thing they say is, give it to yourself first. Right? And that's where it comes from, I guess, because you can't help anyone else if you haven't helped yourself first.
That's right.
Take that big breath of that air and then go for it.
If you're emotionally and physically worn down, you can't care for anyone.
No, there's been days that I do get run down, and my husband will start asking me, you know, and he just cringes. He's like, I hate to ask you this, and because he knows I'm like done. I'm done. And I just have to take that deep breath and say, no, babe, I've got this. It doesn't matter what time it is. I have it. You know, I have 2 dogs, and there's been times that he's woke up screaming, which wakes up the dogs. And then I need to find, the light is on and I'm finding the medication, and as soon as I lay back down, the dogs now, they have to go to the restroom. So I'm back up, you know, and it's just like this whole an hour event. And so it interrupts your sleep mode, and you have to have that.
That's all you need is the dog involvement.
Right, and they do. They get involved, and it's crazy. So, you know, we have to go down, take the dogs out, bring it back. Everybody's settled in, and I'll usually stand there a while and say, let's think about everything that we need before I get back in bed.
Oh, yeah.
See how long we can go again. And it's been okay lately. We're on the right medications right now, and he is getting rest. He doesn't sleep well, but he's trying his best not to wake me, which is, he's trying to give me a break, which I catch him. I catch him.
Well, Laura, I thank you so much for joining us. You've given our listeners a lot of information about caregiving from a personal point of view.
That is a personal point of view.
I could give it from a nursing point of view, but I'm not a caregiver. So I thank you very much for doing this, because it means a lot coming from you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Anything else you'd like to add?
I know. I just, this home here has some wonderful caregivers, and as I sit back and I'm able to be the daughter for my mother now and not the caregiver, and there's part of me that wants to get over there and help her, but I know I sit back. And she, patients, whoever you are, you have to have that trust.
That's right.
And now she has the trust with these wonderful caregivers who have love in their heart, and that's, if you don't have love in your heart, there's no way, I don't think you could be a good caregiver.
My sister called me, I guess I'd been here a week or two. We're at Gracefully Found Care Home. And she called me one evening and she said, Robbie, I just want you to know I'm able to sleep again.
Yes.
I haven't slept in 3 years.
It's true.
Yeah, because this is a very competent, caring place to be.
It is.
With a lot of love.
And someone will be here to show up and help you. You won't be left alone.
Never.
There were many days and nights that I just cried. I cried because I couldn't help my mom. I'm working. I'm not there for her. She's sitting in a chair and she's not wanting, there's no one to help her. So it was a hard time for me and her.
I'm sure.
So I know that God says, you can only get so much. I'm only going to give you what you can handle. And at that time, finding this home relieved me of that. So I could now be full-time for my husband.
Yeah.
I don't know how I could do both.
Yeah, being in the hospital for 1.5 years, when it got close to being discharged, there were times I laid in bed and thought, where am I going to go? Who's going to care for me? Am I going to end up in a nursing home? And again, God, I believe, led me to Gracefully Found Care Home. And we love it. We love it. Well, again, Laura, thank you so much for being with me today. I do appreciate your insight and all your information that you gave. And I wish you well.
Thank you.
And I wish Scott well. And of course, Thelma. Thelma's our love.
Definitely.
Thank you.